Yeah, let's touch on the big two, the main talking points, the lads who take in plaudits, as we have said. Let's start with Darwin Nunez to begin with. So we mentioned this actually earlier on, and like, obviously gets his 2 goals, both brilliantly taken finishes, by the way, in different ways, of course, but absolutely exceptional, both of them, and instinctive, high-class, top-draw finishes that we don't always associate with Darwin Nunez, I think it's fair to say, but he gets absolutely spot on in these 2 occasions. But it's another one of those performances whereby, I said it earlier, had Cody Gakpo have got that brace, or Diaz has chipped in with one and Gakpo the other one, I still don't think we'd be talking negatively about Darwin Nunez's performances, because again, he was brilliant today, and his impact on what went on around him was clear for all to see.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I mean, he has a massive hand in one of Diogo Jota's goals with the one where Gakpo, I think, plays it to him. Yep. You know, he scares the living daylight out of the striker, and he's fouled actually in the lead up to it. Gakpo takes the ball, pushes it off, Jota does the rest, of course, and he does that. He physically makes it very, very difficult for you. He's got all the tools, hasn't he, to make it difficult for a defender. It was a really good all-round performance from him, but what I think the most important thing is, he's working back dead hard. There was tackles and blocks on the edge of the penalty area today, which is what you need to see if he's going to be on that left-hand side. And it's probably the biggest question of what I have of him when he plays on the left. I know he can play well going forwards from there, but I want to see you on the edge of our area doing stuff as well. He's answered those questions from me, certainly, tonight. But the other one is when Salah's not there, you can't just... It's very easy, I think, when you're not in form, to give the ball to Mo Salah. And I think Darwin Nunez has at times this season done that. And Mo Salah deserves to have the ball placed at his feet by Darwin Nunez for what he's done over the last 6-7 years at this football club. But when he's not there, are you going to take those opportunities? Are you going to stand up and be the main man? And he stood up and was the main man today. 2 goals again, really great all-round performance. Loved it, celebrating with the fans, everything you want to see from a striker, but most importantly, 2 absolutely fucking clinical finishes. And I think even more important than that, after the silliness of the attempt early doors, he pushed it to one side.
Yeah.
And because then he had that big chance where he took the ball slightly behind him. There was people berating him for that as well. But he didn't let either of those 2 things get in his head, and he walks away with 2 goals.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I think the Salah stuff's fascinating, that, and obviously it's massively important that lads, whoever they may be, step up in his absence. Of course it is, and Nunez has done that today, as has Diogo Jota, but Jota's got a bit of a habit of doing that, if we're going to be really honest. But Nunez is probably the most interesting point, because he, for all intents and purposes, and in the nicest possible way, has been riding on Salah's coattails a little bit. Assist-wise for one, and also the fact they clearly have this telepathic link-up, and they do work really well together. If you work really well with Mohamed Salah, there's a good chance you're going to play a lot of footy for us, because Salah always plays, and so on and so forth. And also the fact that when Nunez, not all the time, but when he has missed chances in games, often we've gone on to win them games, and often that's down to Mohamed Salah. So it covers up a sort of a plethora of cracks, doesn't it, essentially, if Salah's there doing the bits for you. But when he's not there, you need to put in your chances away. And he's had 3 chances today, give or take, Nunez. He's put 2 of them away. He's put 2 of them away brilliantly. So all of a sudden, that conversation doesn't exist anymore.
And those 2 finishes aren't Nunez finishes from what I've seen in the last 18 months.
Because they're calm.
They're composed. You mentioned too, as I still haven't seen it, of him, in the tunnel from the last game, they're not going in and all that type of stuff. And that's been playing on my mind. And then all of a sudden, as he clipped the post twice, he's definitely clipped it once with the outside of the boot. Maybe he didn't, but the finish was exceptional, and it was right into the side netting regardless for that first one. Lovely. 2 really beautiful finishes, strikers finishes, composed finishes, and an all-round performance to back it up. So yeah, absolutely superb. And again, I'll reiterate, I love the fact that I see him working back on the edge of the area, because he needs to be able to do that. And not only that, he played left-hand side, but he was equally as difficult to deal with through the centre towards the end. And we've seen him come into games late on, and people have started to question, is he more of an impact player? Well, he had exactly the same impact late on in the game as he has been having from the bench in games. So when the other team is getting tired, when they're starting to stretch and try and chase the game, Darwin Nunez is the man to put you 2 or 3 goals ahead. No,
absolutely, mate. And I love the fact that I really like that front 3 today in a lot of ways. Obviously Salah not being there, I didn't like so much, but the fact that they could quite clearly dovetail amongst each other, score so easily.
And they did, didn't they?
They did, exactly. And all of a sudden, I just think as a defender, that must be a nightmare. It's a nightmare defending Darwin Nunez, full stop. Let alone when 1 minute you think he's okay over there on your left, the next minute he's up against you shoulder to shoulder, you're thinking, what's just happened there? Like, how's that become a thing? But yeah, I think brilliant performance today. And I also really like him from the left. Certainly when we're having to defend situation, because just think as an outlet, he's such an obvious outlet for us because his pace is just electric. He's just a nightmare.
Funny enough, me and Josh did, we were doing a deep dive Q&A last week, and one of our Redmen Plus legends had asked us, can you look back at his time at Benfica and where he took his shots from? Now, the data wasn't available because it's the Premier League or whatever, but we did manage to find an article. I found an article in the analyst.com where it did have all of his shots from his last season at Benfica, the really good goal scoring season. And I sort of put them side by side, very shit Photoshop, 2 screen grabs, side by side, sort of almost overlaid them. And they were in very, very similar positions. But the one key difference was his shots for Liverpool this season have all been slightly lent to the right-hand side of the penalty area. And at Benfica, it was the opposite. It was that left-hand side. But when he's shooting from that left-hand side, I just think he's a lot more comfortable. And it makes sense. It's the Henry finish, isn't it? The
one we all want.
Yeah, it's what Salah does from the other side, or did from the other side. But having him in a position where he feels more comfortable shooting from, I think is just a little spark of genius from Klopp. They're putting him into the area where he knows he can finish from, where it's almost muscle memory, rather than he's trying to sort of learn how to do it from the right hand side, going across the keeper and all this type of stuff. It's not like quite working. I'm just going to move you, make you comfortable, and we're reaping the benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. Both his goals today come from that side. The first in particular, the thought process in which to hit it first time is brilliant, and the execution's also brilliant. It's not something we'd always necessarily associate with Darwin Nunez. It wouldn't have surprised me had he tried to whack that a little bit harder, but the placement, the precision is outstanding. But what you've just said there is really interesting, because it makes the 2 he scored away at St James's Park all the more. How has he managed those 2?
I've no idea.
When it is so obviously more natural to him on the other side, it is an enigma forevermore. Number?
I'm going to go 9.
Saving a little bit of room there for Diogo. So, on to Diogo Jota. Just on that point, our club legend chat has been rife with man of the match chat, and of course Diogo Jota is dominating proceedings. Brandy, Derry, Jota, Symes got to be Jota, Bradley with a shout as well, and Mr. Prash all saying Diogo Jota, with Darwin Nunez a close second. But yeah, let's talk about him. Boss.
Yeah, Dan, he continues to just do it, doesn't he? He knows where the back of the net is, and he continues to put the ball into the back of the net. First of all, gets an assist as well as his 2 goals. It's just so 2-footed, man. Yeah. It's just, wherever you need him to be, he's going to turn up. And I think we're a far cry away from he's having a shit game, he's going to score a goal. I think he's being really good in games now as well.
Do you think he was good today?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. I don't disagree, but
go on, say it.
No, I don't disagree, but at the same time, I am sort of like in my brain. Again, we've watched this game once, and there's a lot of stuff going on here, as you can imagine, while that's happening. But
literally, right now,
yeah. But I do, yeah. Was he that influential? I think Nunez was sort of busier and more at the forefront of the game than Diogo Jota.
But when we went in the first half, I thought when Liverpool looked good, Diogo was picking the ball up in the 10 position and driving forward.
He did that, and he should have potentially won a penalty as well when he was driving forward. Yeah, maybe.
And obviously the left-footed pass, we talked about it for Nunez's first. First time, I think it was as well. Just places it perfectly with his left foot.
What did it have on it?
What?
Have instructions on it?
Yeah, had instructions on it, posted it, all that. Darwin Nunez couldn't mess that up, of course. I'm joking. So yeah, I do think he was really good, and I think again he was sort of he just lent whichever way he needed to be today. If it's the right hand side, I'll go over there, but it's that ability to just find space in and around the penalty area. It sets him apart.
Yeah, it does, me. Yeah, and it's 2 finishes. We spoke about Nunez's in detail, so I have to do the same for Diogo. Like, very Diogo Jota finishes, both of them. I mean, the second one at the second attempt is eventually, but the beauty of the second one, of course, is the fact that he makes an absolute pig's ear of it to begin with. A wild swipe, balloons up off his own standing foot, I think, and then there's a big away goes up.
I can't believe that.
It's a true thing.
I can't wait to watch that.
They've done it again.
So he misses, and then he smashes the ball into the back of the net.
Just like Darwin Nunez that time around in the Carabao Cup, they've done exactly the same thing again. And Jota, he must hear that and go, took that personally. Yeah. Not having that. Bang.
But I don't understand how no one else is switched on to it apart from Diogo.
I don't know. I think they all stand there, or they'll turn their back and think that's probably in. But then he's the one who's gone, oh shit, that's still alive, and he reacts quickest. And there's no massive surprise that Jota reacts quickest. It's what he does. But yeah, I think to sort of put the gloss on a performance like that is just kind of Jota's stock in trade now. Like, yeah, they've run a little bit ragged. They look a little bit downbeat. The fact they're probably not going to get anything out of the game. Jota, he could easily go easy, but that's not his style. He just wants to. He's a numbers man. He's an absolute numbers man. And again, I think he was fine today. We probably said McAllister's the best player on the pitch. I think there's a couple of close people behind him. I think Jota was sort of in and amongst that conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But then all of a sudden, but then you add the goals and the assist to it, and he skyrockets. Yeah. And that's just, and again, he's an attacker, and that's what he's supposed to do. But he's just a pure, thoroughbred numbers man. He's a killer.
Yeah, he really is. I can't disagree, mate. You know what you're going to get from him. What you're going to get from him is numbers.
Boss. And do you look at him? We know what we get from Mohamed Salah, crazy numbers. And with Salah being away for, who knows, 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, whatever it looks like, does your gaze immediately avert to Jota to be, you've got to be the guy?
He is a 1 in 2 striker over the course of his Liverpool career.
So it has to be him. There can be others.
Listen, until Nunez has done it consistently for us, Jota's the guy that I'm looking at. He's the experience. He's won league titles. He's won titles for us and stuff like that. So of course he has to. Of course he has to be the guy. He's the oldest of them as well. Diaz, not going to get those numbers by the looks of things that someone like a Mane would get or a Jota would get. So he has to, and he has to drag them across with him and show them that what it is to be a striker at Liverpool Football Club, and he's doing it.
He certainly is. Number, save the best till last.
I'm gonna go 10.
9.5. Well done, Diogo. Well done, my mate.